Santa's Bean by Nanny Linda. There was only 2 weeks to go until Christmas, and the elves had been working hard for most of the year, and the presents were all stacked in Santa's storeroom, waiting for Christmas Eve to draw near. Santa felt such a great relief, since all the hard work had been expertly done, and it was now time for relaxing with Mumsy Santa and having a little fun. A nice little break before the 24th, when he was back at work again, dashing around the world, up and down chimneys, in the snow, the wind and the rain. Santa didn't mind though. He enjoyed his job, and it was so very magical after all. And he never got wet or dirty, and never got stuck or had a fall. So as a special treat, Mumsy Santa decided to make Santa's favourite dish, which was chili, rice and tortillas, with a dash of tequila to give it some swish. For the dessert, she made Christmas pudding, laced with brandy and topped off with thick cream. And for starters, there were oysters. For Santa, the whole meal was a dream. Santa and Mumsy Santa had their own little party, singing and dancing with great delight. And when they eventually went to bed, it was very late into the night. For several days they had been making merry, partying hard but steady. But Christmas Eve was fast approaching, so now it was time to get organised and make everything ship-shape and ready. That night Santa decided to go to bed early, as he wanted to be on top of his game. But suddenly during the night his stomach woke him with trumping and burps, and a dose of the trots rapidly came. Santa was running to the toilet, in and out of bed about every hour or so. His bottom felt like it was burning, and his nose had started to glow. His tummy was gurgling and glugging. He felt queasy and had a bad head, and every time he had to get up, he wanted to lie down instead. "You have partied too hard," said Mumsy Santa. "You're getting too old to be such a joker." "Tell me something I don't know," said Santa. "My bum feels like it's been stabbed with a hot poker." Mumsy Santa gave him some medicine and then made a herbal tea with peppermint leaf. Then he took some tablets for his thumping head, which all helped a little but was very brief. The day of the big journey was dawning, and Santa crawled out of his bed, readying himself for his night job, making sure all the reindeer were fed. His tummy was still gurgling a little, but he wasn't running to the loo quite so much, and his head had finally stopped its dull thudding, but he was still very hot to the touch. Mumsy Santa dosed him up with more jollop to bung him up for his long nightly trip, hoping he wouldn't get taken short, as for that he wasn't equipped. There were no toilets on board Santa's sleigh. The presents took up all available space, and if he ever needed a tinkle, he landed and found a discreet tinkling place. "All aboard!" Santa shouted as the elves finished loading the sleigh, and as they rode out of their North Pole house, Santa trumped and burped all the way, shouting, "On Dasher, on Dancer, on Prancer, on Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen." The reindeer pulled hard, galloping up into the Christmas night sky, with Rudolph and his red nose running along behind. Donner looked at Blitzen and gave a large snort and a sigh. "I hope he's not going to make smells and noises like that for the whole of our nighttime ride." Gliding through the frosty air, the reindeer danced along, leaving a trail of glitter while Santa sang Christmas songs. Presents were delivered all around the world, from north to east, south and west, and at times Santa felt hot and clammy. He preferred the colder climes the best. They stopped at a town in Wyoming where little Violet wanted a zoo, and Santa had become quite desperate, so he had to quickly use their loo. A little further on to the north, they stopped for Jimmy Kent, who had written his letter to Santa asking for a one-man camping tent. Again, Santa's tummy was gurgling, and he had to use their loo. It was now becoming obvious that all the jollop was working through. The reindeer were getting impatient. Santa was taking so much time. What on earth was he playing at? They would have to hurry and lengthen their stride. All across America, UK and Europe, Santa had to keep stopping to use the loo. And still he was burping and trumping, but didn't know what else to do. It was nearly time for sunrise as they were making their last stop of the night to a small children's hospital in England where the children were waiting with delight. He left presents in all of the stockings and a treat for the carer on duty too, and when he had finished delivering them, he had to stop to use the loo. So all over the world on Christmas morning, there were happy cries of, "Santa's been!" But it wasn't just delivering presents, and I think you know what I mean.